السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته، وأهلا بكم في حلقة جديدة من برنامج شاهد على العصر، حيث نواصل الاستماع إلى شهادة مؤسس ماليزيا الحديثة وزعيم نهضتها الدكتور مهاتير محمد رئيس الوزراء الماليزي. معالي الدكتور، مرحبا بك. في 13 من يوليو تموز عام 2003 شنت ماليزيا حملة إعلامية ضخمة ضد سنغافورة بسبب إمدادات المياه غير المعالجة. هذه مشكلة قديمة، وأنت سبق أن عقدت اتفاقا مع لي كوان يو مؤسس سنغافورة في العام 2000، فلماذا بقيت المشكلة ولماذا انفجرت في ذلك الوقت؟
There were several issues between Malaysia and Singapore. It's not only about the water. There is also a claim on a piece of rock, a rock in the sea, which Singapore claims and we claim. And there are other reasons for conflict. But the water problem is a very big problem because agreements were made many years ago, many decades ago, and the price of water was 3 Malaysian cents per 10,000 liters of water. So 3 cents today is worth nothing. You can't buy anything with 3 cents. So the price of water should be raised against Singapore, maybe raised by 1,000%, 30 cents or maybe more. But Singapore was selling the same water after filtration, after filtering and preparing it. The same water was sold at about 17 Singapore dollars. So the margin they make is very, very big. So I thought that we should revise the price. We also buy water from Singapore at a very high price because it's filtered water that we buy back after they have processed it. So we want to increase the selling price of our raw water and the selling price of their filtered water to us so that it will be much more reasonable. So because of that, Singapore refuses to accede to any change in the price. So because of that, there was tension between our two countries.
في مذكراتك أشرت إلى أن علاقتكم مع سنغافورة كانت مليئة بالتحديات. ما هي أهم التحديات التي كانت بينكم وبين سنغافورة؟
For example, our Malaysian workers working in Singapore have to contribute towards their pension fund. But when they want to leave Singapore, they should be given back their contribution. Singapore makes a distinction between Peninsular Malaysia and the states of Sabah and Sarawak. If you're going back to state of Sabah and Sarawak, you get back your pension fund. But if you're coming back to the peninsula, then you don't get. So they treat our citizens differently based on where they came from. That is not right. Our citizens have the same right everywhere.
حينما طرد تونكو عبد الرحمن رئيس الوزراء الماليزي سنغافورة من الاتحاد الماليزي في العام 1965 بسبب مطامع وطموحات لي كوان يو، أنت أشرت إلى أن لي كوان يو بقيت في نفسه غصة أنه كان يريد أن يكون رئيس وزراء ماليزيا وليس رئيس وزراء تلك الدولة الصغيرة سنغافورة.
Yeah, that was my belief that Kuan Yew was not happy to be the prime minister of only a city-state. He wants to be a prime minister of a bigger country, Malaysia. But that was why he tried to contest in the election in 1964, but he lost. But after that, the Tunku finds that if Singapore is still in Malaysia, then it will cause a lot more trouble to Malaysia. So the Tunku felt that it is better if Singapore is given its freedom to become a separate state than to be a part of Malaysia.
أنت كنت كثير الصدام في البرلمان الماليزي بين عامي 64 و 65 مع لي كوان يو. هو كان يطلق عليك الملايوي المتعصب، وأنت أيضا كنت شديد القسوة عليه في انتقاده في البرلمان. هل هذه العلاقة المتوترة بينك وبين لي كوان يو سيطرت على علاقات ماليزيا وسنغافورة حينما كنت أنت رئيسا للوزراء وهو رئيس لسنغافورة؟
As I said just now, there were several areas of conflict, and we tried to resolve all these conflicts through negotiation. But unfortunately, we couldn't solve even one area of conflict. For example, the water price. So because of that, it keeps on coming up, because we need to revise the price of water, because very soon the price of water is going to go up, but we still get only 3 cents per 1,000 liters of water.
أنا حاولت حصر الإشكالات والتحديات التي كانت بين ماليزيا وسنغافورة، وجدت أنها تتمثل في عدة أشياء، مثل محطة سكك الحديد الماليزية التي كانت تتواجد في الأرض السنغافورية، النتوء الصخري، استخدام المجال الجوي الماليزي من قبل سلاح الجو السنغافوري. هذه المشكلات كأنما البريطانيون هم الذين صنعوها. هل تعتقد أن البريطانيين أو تعتبر البريطانيين هم سبب المشاكل بين سنغافورة وماليزيا؟
Well, the British, before when they came to Malaysia, they treated Singapore as a part of the mainland. So when we separated, we find that it is because they are not the same kind of people as we find in Malaysia. So we need to resolve certain conflicts. For example, our airspace is used by them for their military aircrafts. And there was one case where a plane crashed in Malaysia, and they came in to rescue without even telling us. Then there is a problem of the railway line. Singapore wants to get rid of the railway line. We want to maintain the railway line because that land on which the train passes through belongs to us. But if you want us to not have a railway line in Singapore, they must pay us compensation. So all these many problems, we try to resolve all at once, but always the water problem comes up, and we couldn't resolve all. So I decided that there is no way we can resolve this problem through bilateral negotiation.
أسس البريطانيون مرافق في سنغافورة وجعلوها ملجأ لمعظم السفن التي تمر في المنطقة، لكن ماليزيا حينما أنشأت مرافق بعد ذلك وتقدمت في تقديم الخدمات، هل أدى ذلك أيضا إلى شيء من المنافسة والاضطراب بين الدولتين؟
Well, Singapore had prospered because it has a very big harbor, and most ships passing from east to west or west to east stop in Singapore, and of course Singapore earns a lot of money from that. That was in the old days. It was when ships cannot travel without winds. It was okay, but now ships can travel anywhere because they have engines to propel the ship. So we think that Malaysia is just as strategic for shipping as is Singapore. So we built our new harbor, and of course we attracted a lot of ships to our new harbor because the cost in Malaysia is always lower than in Singapore. So a lot of ships began to stop in Malaysia at a port that is next to Singapore, and we even have shipping companies like Maersk buying a share in the harbor that we built. So it is fair competition. You have a harbor, we have a harbor also. And if you can attract ships to go there, that's your business. But we have the advantage of lower cost. And many ships come to Malaysia now.
هل كنت تشعر وأنت حينما أصبحت رئيسا للحكومة في العام 81 إلى العام 2003 وليكوا كان رئيس لسنغافورة في تلك الفترة أنكما تتنافسان، كل منكما ينافس الآخر في الحكم وفي الإنجازات؟
Well, we want to develop to the same level or better than the development of Singapore. And that is fair competition. I mean, if we can provide the services to people, business people, to travelers and all that, why should we not do it just because Singapore is doing it? We want to earn money from the business also. So we build better ports and better airports, and we build better roads, etc., so that people who come to Malaysia can get the same service in Malaysia as they can get from Singapore, but at a lower price.
في مذكراتك أشرت إلى حادثة دبلوماسية تمثل حدة العلاقة بينكما. حينما أنت قمت بزيارة سنغافورة أبقاك لي كوان يو لمدة ربع ساعة في غرفة جانبية تنتظر اللقاء به، وأنت رددت له الفعل حينما هو جاء إلى ماليزيا، أنت أيضا أبقيته ينتظرك في غرفة لمدة ربع ساعة. ما تفسيرك لهذا السلوك دبلوماسيا؟
I think I was a prime minister. I should be treated as a prime minister. To keep me waiting in the holding room for 15 minutes before he would see me is an insult to the, not only to me, to the country. So if you do that to me, I will do that to you. It's tit for tat, but it is a little bit childish. But that was what we did to show that we are equal and we should be treated with the right kind of formality as between two prime ministers. Not because of some business people wanting to see the prime minister, and you can have the business people wait. But it is a prime minister of a country meeting another prime minister of another country. So we don't ask the visitor to wait for 15 minutes or to wait at all. You should just be ready to receive at the door. That is what I normally did for all my visitors. All my foreign visitors, if they come to Malaysia, I'll be at the steps in front of my office to receive the not staying in my room. I come down. You see, so I think it's a question of protocol. We should treat each other with due respect.
هل كان لي كوان يو هو الزعيم الوحيد الذي لم تخرج لاستقباله أمام باب مكتبك وأبقيته ربع ساعة طوال 22 عاما من رئاستك للوزراء؟
I think it only happens with Singapore. I visited many countries in the world. Normally there would be a guard of honor, reception, and sometimes the Prime Minister receives me at the airport. You see, so, or at least a very senior official will receive me at the airport. But I think to make a Prime Minister wait is not very nice.
هناك أزمة كبيرة أخرى وقعت ولا زالت أنت تعتبرها مشكلة كبيرة، وهي حينما أوقفتم بيع الرمال إلى سنغافورة، فأعلن رئيس الوزراء السنغافوري وقف بناء جسر كان سيمر في الأراضي السنغافورية، جسر ماليزي كان سيمر في الأراضي السنغافورية. مشكلة الرمال الآن، بيع الرمال لسنغافورة، أنت سنغافورة تشتري من هناك عقد لشراء 1 مليار متر مكعب من الرمال من ماليزيا على مدى 20 عاما. أنت تعترض بشدة على هذه الصفقة التي وقعها رئيس الوزراء الذي أتى بعدك. لماذا تعترض؟ وما طبيعة مشكلة الرمال بين سنغافورة وماليزيا؟
Well, initially when they were not taking too much sand, nothing has changed in Malaysia. But when you take sand from the sea, the shoreline is changed because the sand tends to drift back into the sea from the seashore. and it causes erosion of the coastline. So on the one hand, they want to use the sand to reclaim land. On the other hand, our sand, our own territory is eroded because we are taking sand close to the shore. So we decided that you can take sand from elsewhere, but not from Malaysia.
أنت أشرت إلى نقطة هنا، هو أنهم يأخذوا الرمال أو يشتروا الرمال من ماليزيا ليوسعوا بها مساحة سنغافورة، حتى أنك قلت أن المليار متر مكعب من الرمال الماليزية ستؤدي إلى أن تزيد مساحة سنغافورة مرة ونصف عما هي عليه الآن.
Yeah, they can expand the land of Singapore, but the sand cannot come from Malaysia. When you take the sand from Malaysia, although the sand is in the sea, the coastal line changes because sand from the land will slip into the sea. So basically what it means is that you are taking Malaysian land and enlarging Singapore with Malaysian land. So we don't need the money anyway. We don't need to sell because it doesn't earn us much money to sell sand to Singapore.
أنت اتهمت عبد الله بدوي الذي تولى رئاسة الحكومة بعدك بأنه لا يمارس سلطة ماليزيا على الأرض الماليزية، وأنه تنازل عن أرض ورمال ماليزيا لصالح سنغافورة.
He was the prime minister. At that time I was no longer prime minister. I cannot stop him, but I certainly did not agree with his policy of selling sand again to Singapore and a lot of other things, even land, stones and rocks and all that are taken from Malaysia to Singapore when he was the prime minister. But I was not the prime minister, I cannot say anything.
هل حقا سنغافورة كانت جزءا من ولاية جوهور وباعها سلطان جوهور إلى البريطانيين ب$60,000 فقط؟
Yes, it was true. Way back in the 19th century, the ruler of Johor sold Singapore for $60,000 to the British. Normally, when the British left, it should revert to Malaysia because we own the land. But we cannot accept the land because it has changed so much population-wise. So we lose a big chunk of Malaysia belonging to the state of Johor. We lose it, it's now become a new state of Singapore.
لم يتوقف أو لم تتوقف اتهامات لي كوان يو لك حتى بعدما خرجت أنت من الحكومة في العام 2006. قال إن الماليزيين أو الملاي لا يعاملون الصينيين الماليزيين معاملة حسنة، واتهمك أنت بأنك دائما تتحدث حديثا سلبيا وتقول أشياء سيئة عن سنغافورة.
Well, they make bad comments about Malaysia, so I think I am justified in making similar comments against Singapore. Singapore used to be a part of Malaysia, but the population has changed so much because of British allowing large immigration into Singapore. Now we can't take it back because it is a different country completely.
أنا لاحظت أن إسرائيل التي أنت تنتقدها بشدة وإلى اليوم تواجدت بشكل مبكر في سنغافورة، وتحدث لي كوان في مذكراته. لي كوان كتب مذكراته في مجلدين، لكن مذكراتك في مجلد واحد 1000 صفحة، هو مذكراته في مجلدين حوالي 600 صفحة تقريبا. تحدث عن التعاون الإسرائيلي المبكر مع الجيش السنغافوري سنة 65 بعد انفصال سنغافورة مباشرة عن ماليزيا. الذي قام بتدريب وتأسيس الجيش السنغافوري هم الإسرائيليون.
Yeah, that is true. Singapore asked the Israeli armed forces to train Singapore's armed forces. That is because Singapore considers itself as being an island in a Malay Sea. All the surrounding countries of Singapore are, well, not peopled by the Chinese, but mainly Malays in Indonesia, in the Philippines. So Singapore feels like it is Israel. Israel considers all the Muslim countries as its enemies. So it must prepare to defend itself against all the Muslim countries around Israel. Singapore thinks in the same way, that it is a Chinese country in a Malay Sea, because all the surrounding countries of Southeast Asia are peopled by ethnically the same people.
حينما قرأت مذكرات ليكوا، درست النهضة الماليزية، النهضة السنغافورية، فهمت الفارق بين تجربتك وتجربة ليكوا حينما تحدث عن سنغافورة من العالم الثالث إلى العالم الأول، وصف الشعب السنغافوري الذي معظمه من الصينيين بأنه شعب نشيط طواق للتعلم والمعرفة. أنت في مذكراتك وفي تأكيداتك وفي خطاباتك كنت تصف المالاي دائما بأنهم شعب كسول جشع ميال لسهولة الحصول على المال دون تعب. الفارق هائل بين أن تجد شعبا يساعدك وشعبا كسولا. أدركت أنك عانيت كثيرا في النهضة التي قمت بها في ماليزيا، أكثر من معاناة أي زعيم آخر، واعتبرت برأيي الشخصي من خلال دراستي لتجربتك أنك قمت بما يشبه المعجزة من خلال التطوير الذي قمت به بهذا الشعب الكسول معك.
Well, actually, culturally, we are very different. Chinese and Malays are very different culturally. Our value systems are different. The Chinese are very keen on doing well and very good in business, etc. The Malays, formerly, they were only rice cultivators and fishermen. And they cannot compete with the Chinese in business, because the Chinese have got a 4,000-year history of civilization. So when you put these two different races together, invariably the weaker race will lose out and they become very poor, and the more dynamic race like the Chinese, they become very rich. And this difference in wealth is very dangerous, because in any country, if the difference between rich and poor is very, very big, there will always be some kind of revolution. For example, in Europe, during the industrial age, the workers organize themselves against the government, and some adopt socialism and communism, and even kill the leaders. Like the Tsar, for example, was killed because of the differences in terms of class. I want to avoid that in Malaysia, but I want to avoid that by bringing up the Malays, so training them and helping them to enrich themselves so that they can compete with the Chinese. But it's not easy, of course. I admit that mostly I fail.
لكن هناك بعض المطالب الآن بأن تكون هناك مساواة في الدستور بين الملاي والصينيين والهنود، وأنت تتخوف من هذا بأن هذا سيفقد الملاي ربما السلطة ويجعل الصينيين يحكمون ماليزيا إذا حدث.
Well, it is true that the Chinese are a very dynamic race. They are very good in business. They are, in a way, very materialistic, whereas Malays like an easy life. They don't want to work too hard. They don't want to shoulder responsibilities. So over time, if you don't correct this imbalance, over time the difference between them will be so big that there will be conflicts between the races. That is what I was trying to avoid. That we're trying to help the Malays catch up with Chinese. It's not something wrong. It's done also in America partially. this affirmative action, where you have the weak race, the blacks in America, for example, you have the blacks to catch up with the whites in America. But at the same time, I have to enrich the country. I cannot just take everything away from the Chinese. They are very confident about their ability, and they are very good in business, as I said. So they during my time, despite my helping the Malays, the Chinese did very well.
كيف تنظر إلى مستقبل العلاقة مع سنغافورة في ظل سياسة رئيسي الحكومة اللذين جاء بعدك واللذين بنياها على عدم إثارة المشكلات مع سنغافورة؟
Yes, I think they prefer that way. That is their policy, to be friends with Singapore. I have no objection. But the water problem, for example, is still there. Singapore is still paying 3 cents per 1,000 gallons, whereas Singapore is able to sell the water at a very, very high price and benefit from it. If the present government of Malaysia is feeling that it's all right to sell water at 3 cents, that is their decision. But I don't think it is fair.
في 30 من أكتوبر من العام 2003 ترأست آخر اجتماع لمجلس الوزراء الماليزي. أعلنت في مؤتمر صحفي بعد الاجتماع، حييت الوزراء وأعلنت عن شعورك بالرضا عما حققته من إنجازات في ماليزيا.
No, I mean, I was retiring. I must have some good words to say of my successor. Although he was against me when he was supporting Tunku Rizali, that was the past. I believe that people can change, and I was hoping that much of the system and policies that was instituted during my time would be continued. But unfortunately, the changes made were such that the country could not progress as well as before.
أثرت الزوابع أيضا ضد اليهود في هذا اليوم، وقلت إن اليهود مذنبون باضطهادهم المسلمين تماما مثلما كان يضطهد الأوروبيون اليهود على مر العصور. ما هي رؤيتك الآن لسعي العرب وحكام العرب لخطب ود إسرائيل رغم ما تقوم به إسرائيل من جرائم ضد المسلمين وضد الفلسطينيين؟
Well, I suppose you can be friendly with Israel, but it is also good if you are friendly among the Muslim countries and stop fighting each other. I mean, nowadays, of course, the trouble is between Arabs and Arabs in Syria, in Yemen, and in Libya, but they are not able to set up good government to stabilize their country and to establish good relations among all the Muslim countries in that area. Then they can develop their country and compete with Israel. But if they don't do that, then of course all the time they will be fighting and they will gain nothing.
في مؤتمرك الصحفي الأخير كرئيس للوزراء في 30 أكتوبر 2003 قلت عبارة لا زالت تثير جدلا. قلت إن هاجس الديمقراطية يمكن أن يقود إلى الفوضى. رغم أنك لم تقم نظاما ديمقراطيا في ماليزيا، ولكن ما هي الديمقراطية المنضبطة التي يمكن أن تؤدي إلى النهضة وليس إلى الفوضى؟
Well, democracy depends upon the support of the people. It is not an easy system. It is not a perfect system. There are also problems in the democracy as there are problems in other systems of government. To expect a country to become democratic and therefore be able to develop and prosper is wrong. You have to learn how to make use of the democratic system to stabilize the country, to achieve peace in the country, and then to contribute towards the development of the country. So merely a regime change is not going to help the countries. So in Malaysia, yes, we are not a liberal democracy, not like America, where anything you can do, you want to do, you can. If a man wants to marry a man, that's okay. But in Malaysia, we have elections every 5 years, and in the elections, government parties can lose and even lose control of the different states. That is good because it is a democratic system, part of a democratic system. But if we allow too much freedom, like say the Chinese to say nasty things about the Malays and the Malays to say bad things about the Chinese, if you allow that, then there will be tension and conflict, and the country will not become stable. And if the country is not stable, we cannot develop the country.
نمت نوما هنيئا في الليلة التي سبقت استقالتي غير منزعج بالأفكار المتعلقة باليوم التالي. هذا ما ذكرته في صفحة 933 من مذكراتك عن الليلة التي سبقت لقائك بالملك وتسليمك السلطة إلى خليفتك عبد الله بدوي.
Being a prime minister, I was able to do a lot of things for the country. But when I give up, it means that I no longer have control over what happens in the country. Everything goes to the new prime minister. He may change the policy. He may do other things. And indeed, that was what happened. They assume that when I was prime minister, there was a lot of corruption involving my children. And so they think that when they take over, their children should be able to benefit from their becoming prime ministers. Actually, when I was prime minister, I didn't allow my children to be involved in politics in my party, not even to join my party, and they cannot do business with the government. That is my rule when I was prime minister. The assumption that I was corrupt and all that is something that is I'm accused of, but I have not taken even a single cent of the government money. In fact, I gave back a lot of things. All the things I received from foreign countries, gifts and all that, I gave back to the government. And motor cars, there were 26 cars were given to me during the time when I was prime minister, new cars, but I didn't take any one of them. All of them I gave to the government. When I retired, I had only 2 cars which I bought myself. I don't take money from the government.
في حفل وصف بأنه بسيط جرى في القصر الملكي، وافق ملك ماليزيا في 31 أكتوبر 2003 على استقالتك، وأقسم عبد الله بدوي اليمين الدستورية خلفا لك. ما تفسيرك لإهمال الغرب التغطية لذلك الحدث بينما حظي باهتمام كبير في منطقة جنوب شرق آسيا وأيضا في ماليزيا، أن يتخلى رئيس الحكومة طواعية عن السلطة لنائبه؟
Well, to the West, I'm not a very good prime minister. In fact, the West had criticized me all the 22 years I was prime minister because I speak the truth about what they were doing, and they don't like my criticizing them. They like to criticize me, but I must not criticize them. So the West couldn't appreciate that although they call me a dictator, and dictators do not resign, they don't say any word of any good word for me because I resigned voluntarily. Nobody pressed me to resign. I resigned because I thought I'd been there too long. No dictator has ever resigned in the world. You know, they only stop becoming dictators when they die. I could have stayed on, but I preferred to give a chance to other people to become prime minister.
ماليزيا مملكة تمنح فيها الألقاب والأوسمة للناس من الملك مثل داتو وسيري وداتوك، لكن اللقب الأعلى هو تون، وهو يوازي لقب الباشا في تركيا ومصر على سبيل المثال. الملك منحك وزوجتك السيدة حاسمة لقب تون. أعلى لقب ملكي في ماليزيا بعدما استقلت من رئاسة الحكومة بعد انتهاء مراسيم تسليم السلطة. هل سرك بعد ذلك الوقت أن تصبح تن مهاتير محمد؟
I didn't care much about being given titles and all that. At first, I refused, but then I thought that I would be, insulting the king if I refused an award coming from him. So I accepted, and my wife also was given the same title. We both accepted it. But there are many of these titles given to people who have done something. I think if they give because they appreciate what I have done, I'm very happy. But what is happening now is that if you become Prime Minister and you retire, then you become a Tun. You are given the highest title possible. Whether you contribute or you don't contribute, the title is there for you to take. To me, that is not the way. One of the things I did upon being made Prime Minister is to forbid any place or any house or any road to be named with my name. I don't want my name to be used.
هذا كان سؤالي لك. في دول العالم الثالث عادة حينما يأتي زعيم أسماؤه تطلق على الشوارع والمدارس والمؤسسات والمباني وحتى المدن. مصر فيها مدينة مبارك ومدينة السادات ومعظم دول العالم الثالث. كم مدرسة وكم شارع وكم مؤسسة وكم قرية وكم مدينة أطلق عليها اسم مهاتير محمد رغم أنك الرجل الذي بنيت النهضة الماليزية بالكامل؟
Nothing, no building, no roads, no place have been given my name. You can find that out because we have Tun Razak Road, we have Tunku Abdurrahman Memorial and all kinds of things, but there is nothing for me because I don't allow it. People come to me and ask to use my name. Some organization wanted to give scholarships in my name. I must admit that this organization were very insistent. Finally, I told them, okay, you can give the award in my name. So the scientific award for achievements in science is given in my name. But otherwise, nothing is named after me during the time when I was Prime Minister and after I retire. Maybe after I'm dead, they may put, then I cannot say anything.
بعد عمر طويل ربنا يعطيك الصحة. لكن لماذا رفضت هذا وهذا أمر مشروع لا سيما وأنك الكل يقدر أنك أنت الذي بنيت نهضة ماليزيا الحديثة؟
I don't like personality cult. I don't like projecting myself as a very special person or anything like that. You know, in many countries, even in Malaysia, the first Prime Minister had a statue made of him and put in front of the Parliament House. But I don't want to have any reminder of the time when I was Prime Minister. Nothing at all.
كل شيء في ماليزيا يذكر الناس بك وبفترة رئاستك للحكومة ومشروعاتك التي قمت بها في كل مكان تدل عليك.
Yes, they are everywhere, but they're not named after me. For example, this town, this administrative town, is called after the first Prime Minister, Putra. His name is Putra. So we call this town Putrajaya. No, I could have given my name because this town was started by me, but none. I built quite a lot of things in my 22 years, and I opened many new buildings and all that, but none has been given my name.
لا يفوتني في هذه الشهادة أن أسألك عن زوجتك الدكتورة حاسمة ودورها في حياتك، لا سيما أنا التقيت بها أمس وتحدثت معها قليلا. ما طبيعة الدور الذي لعبته في حياتك المليئة بالصعاب والتحديات والعمل المتواصل بالليل والنهار؟
She was always very supportive, and she likes to accompany me wherever I go, even to official functions. She doesn't interfere in my politics, and I never tell her anything about what I wanted to do. I didn't tell her that I was going to resign, but all the time she was very supportive of me, and she doesn't create any problem. She doesn't interfere in the government, not at all, and she doesn't get any money from the government.
هل ندمت يوما على استقالتك طوعا وتسليم السلطة لنائبك عبد الله بدوي؟
Well, now that I have seen what happened, I think lots of people tell me that I should not have resigned so early. But on the other hand, if I had not resigned, then you would not see what happens after I resign. Now, of course, you see that things are not so well because it has happened. If I had stayed on, I think people will become very tired of me.
شكلت استقالتي من أعلى مناصب الدولة بعد 22 عاما خطوة كبيرة بالنسبة لي. ما هي الخطوة التي شكلتها استقالتك بالنسبة إليك؟
Well, it is a change in status. As Prime Minister, I had authority over many things. I can do many things. I can influence the development of the country. But once you are no longer the Prime Minister, you lose completely all your authority and all your power to do anything that may be good for the country. You have to watch other people doing things, and even if they do wrong things, you find yourself unable to help with correcting the wrong things that they have done. So it is a big step, certainly, from being a Prime Minister of the country to becoming a ordinary citizen of the country.
حينما أصبحت مواطنا عاديا، الذين كانوا يملؤون بيتك ومكتبك ويتزاورون ويصطفون حتى يلتقوا بك، كيف تعاملوا معك بعدما استقلت؟
When they find that something is wrong done by the government, they come and see me, asking me to help. Lots of delegations come and ask me that the present government, the previous government also, was not doing the right thing according to them. So at one time when I was still friendly with the Prime Minister, I tried to advise him and tell him about what the people are thinking. But he doesn't take my advice. He has a different ideas completely. But eventually when he does something very, very wrong, I had to resign from the party, and I had to set up my own political party to fight against him. So nowadays people come to me as leader of the opposition.
سآتي تفصيلا إلى هذا. بعض أو كثير ممن يكونوا في السلطة ويتركوها يصابون بالاكتئاب وبالفراغ، لكني لاحظت أن جدول أعمالك بقي ممتلئا بعدما تركت السلطة وحتى اليوم.
I like to work. I cannot imagine not working. So I have several offices where I go to work. I was made honorary advisor to Petronas. I was made advisor also to the automotive company and all that. And that means that I carry on working. And when you're working, there's no time to be depressed or to regret anything. At the same time, of course, politically, people ask me to help. And so I joined them in their political efforts to change the government. So I'm very busy now, still busy in politics.
هل كنت تدرك أن خليفتك عبد الله بدوي يستطيع حمل التركة الثقيلة التي تركتها له؟
I thought he would be able to, because the system of government is already in place. The government he took over was ahead financially, was in a good situation. So it shouldn't be difficult to continue the administration of the country. But unfortunately, he seemed to have other ideas, and those ideas did not work. It was bad for the country.
بدأت تنتقد حكومة عبد الله بدوي بشكل ظاهر في العام 2004. كانت آراؤك تنشر في الصحف، وفجأة تم الطمس على آرائك ولم يعد أحد ينشر لك شيئا.
Well, the present government under Najib is very restrictive. I cannot meet with ministers. I cannot meet with party members. I cannot make use of halls to have a meeting. I cannot travel in the private planes because people landing planes for me to travel would be questioned, would have lots of harassment from the government. Even my friends are being told that they should not be my friends. They should keep away from me. Of course, the press is totally under their control, excepting that now we have the electronic media where control is not easy and not possible even. So any news coming from the government through the government press is all about praising the government. But any criticism cannot be printed or broadcast by the TV station. So it is total censorship practically against me and the opposition. Opposition has got no money because nobody can contribute money to the opposition, because if you do that, then the income tax people will come and demand that you pay more taxes, and they might even raid the companies. They might even take books, account books for examination, which will stop you from doing business. A lot of things are happening, which are not published, of course, in Malaysia, but foreign countries have reported about how the Prime Minister was involved in money laundering in America. So in Malaysia, there is no news at all about that. We only learn from what was published by the Department of Justice in America. There is a total blackout on news that is not good for the government. So there is total censorship now.
اسمح لي في الحلقة القادمة أتناول معك جذور كل الخلافات التي قامت بينك وبين حكومة عبد الله بدوي ثم حكومة نجيب رزاق بعد ذلك، والتي وصلت إلى حد استدعائك من الشرطة عدة مرات، استقالتك من الحزب الحاكم، وتحالف المعارضة الكبير الذي أقمته بعد ذلك. أشكرك شكرا جزيلا، كما أشكركم مشاهدينا الكرام على حسن متابعتكم. في الحلقة القادمة إن شاء الله نواصل الاستماع إلى شهادة مؤسس ماليزيا الحديثة الدكتور مهاتير محمد. في الختام أنقل لكم تحياتي فريق البرنامج، وهذا أحمد منصور يحييكم، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.